This ain't happening.
Yo, welcome to The Point. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have a whole conglomerate of Pirates content creators. How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Awesome.
You guys are very enthused. Very lively group. 6:30 is just way too late for this crowd.
6:30 on a Friday, and some of us are a couple drinks in already. So,
Oh, I envy you, Gary. Thanks for the invite. But
Can't relate. Definitely not me.
yeah, right. But let's introduce all of our guests. So, of course, we'll start with Tyler from the left. Tyler, introduce yourself. Where are you from?
Hey, I'm Tyler. First time, long time DiNardo. Glad to be on. Gary, you look great. 92 Pirates, you look great. Alex, you could do better. DiNardo, you could do better. I hope everybody has fun tonight.
Good stuff. Thank you, Ty. Next, Alex.
Hey, how's it going, gang? Tyler, I think you look great too. Even if you won't reciprocate, I'll
I take it back. Alex looks great. DiNardo, you look terrible.
Okay.
Well, where are you from,
Yeah,
Alex? Introduce yourself.
I
buddy.
am from MLB.com and BlueSky, believe it or not. So,
And also, Tyler, you're already down a point. You can't rag on the host like that. Next up, Gary.
yeah, Steel City Pirates. I have the Pirates fan forum over at DK Pittsburgh Sports, and I guess if you know me, you know me. And I don't really care how anybody looks at all, especially not people in this room.
Nice. And JC, welcome to the show. Introduce yourself.
Hi. Yeah, I'm a 1992 Pirates. I'm an amateur pirate historian, video editor, meme content creator, two-time NS9 Fanboy Award nominee.
That's
you
right.
can find me on Twitter, TikTok, Bluesky, Instagram, Threads, Hills, Kmart, Gimbals, and anywhere else fine products are sold.
Great stuff. Well, there is our contestants for the evening. Before we go any further, just let you all know about BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get on the action with America's most trusted betting site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. So guys, with that said, BetOnline, there's something that you can bet on as well happening tonight. Tonight, Logan Paul, Mike Tyson. So that brings us to the vibe check, the very first round today. I want to know, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, the fight of the century, right? Netflix. Also, by the way, 8 p.m. tonight. I don't know what was up with that, but 8 p.m. for a fight. I want to know who's going to win tonight. What's your take? We'll go ahead and start left from right. Ty.
We're opening up with me. Okay. Also, I think that fight's probably going to happen at 10, 11 o'clock probably. Prelims start at 8 o'clock, for the normal people watching on Netflix. But in all reality, the betting favorite right now is Jake Paul. If you ask anybody who is going to win this fight, I think everybody's going to tell you Mike Tyson. Because we're not stupid. We've seen Iron Mike forever. So why is Jake Paul favored so heavily? Last time I checked, Mike Tyson was plus 225. Everybody and their mother is going to take Mike Tyson there. Vegas wasn't built losing bets. It's going to be Jake Paul. It's going to go to a decision. They have basically pillows in their gloves tonight. I think it's 14-ounce gloves. Silly. It's going to go to distance. It'll be done by a decision. Jake Paul will win. Everybody will be annoyed that we wasted our entire night watching this thing. Jake Paul wins.
There it is. All right. Alex, what's your viewpoint here?
I'm going to quote the late, great Norm Macdonald on the Mike Tyson Mysteries show, where he's like, I think sometimes we forget that's Mike Tyson. He could kill all of us. I hear what Tyler's saying, and I get that. I refuse to believe that Mike Tyson is willing to go out, playing second fiddle to a Paul, to the lesser Paul. Like he's got it in him. He's got one big wallop in him. He's not going out a punk. I'm betting on Iron Mike.
Did you say a Paul? Are you trashing Pauls?
For a last name, yeah. Throw Xavier Paul in there. Screw him.
Gary, your take.
Oh man, I've toiled with it. Not because I bet, but because the best part of me just wants to watch Mike Tyson beat the tar out of somebody. I mean, it's been a long time. He's almost 60 years old. I'm old too. I'm rooting for somebody old to do something athletic and awesome. I'm going to go Mike Tyson as far as what I hope for, because he's only got to get lucky a couple times and it's over. So I think Paul does have to probably outlast him and go to a decision. You're right, Tyler. But if Mike Tyson gets lucky more than once or twice, I think it's over. And Paul wouldn't last even as long as this whole BlueSky exodus is going to last.
Oh, hot take. All right. I'll just say this. I'm going to spare you the negative points for agreeing and saying Tyler's right. That's your warning. JC, you're next.
All right. So first off, Mike Tyson, he's a lot like me, devastatingly handsome, tough as hell, the owner of a powerful, manly speaking voice that makes lesser men quiver in fear and women swoon. But he also hasn't had an official fight in 19 years. Meanwhile, I haven't graced the internet airwaves since 2002 when I was co-host of the mildly successful Wham! Pro Wrestling show presented by the Wrestling Online Real Audio Network. Now, I figure if I can make a comeback after 20 years, then Iron Mike can certainly make a comeback too. And my sure-to-be winning performance tonight here on The Point will be a strong portent of things to come for a victorious Mr. Tyson.
Oh, man. You came with the heat there. I like it. Do we have anyone with rebuttal here, Tyler?
You know what? I think tonight we're all getting bamboozled. I would rather watch, as JC said himself about wrestling, I would rather watch his brother wrestle on SmackDown tonight because he is a more talented entertainer than Jake Paul. Logan Paul is way more entertaining, and I would like to tune into SmackDown, which I probably will, and watch him wrestle rather than whatever we're going to call this little shenanigan thing we got going on tonight. Will I watch? Probably, but is it going to be fun? No.
Alex.
He's not going out a punk. It just takes one hit. Like Gary said, just takes one hit to unlock Iron Mike.
I mean, I think I have the ultimate rebuttal. I don't like either of these guys. They're both going to get punched in the face. I want to watch it. I mean, like, that's entertainment to me. Two people that I don't really care for beating each other senseless. How could it get better than that? That's entertainment at its finest, my friend.
Love it. JC.
So I guess your prediction is pain for tonight. Sounds like a good one to me.
Your
Nice.
first one was way better.
Well, great stuff, guys. way to open this up as the official, by the way, undercard of the Tyson Logan Paul fight here. Jake Paul, whatever. One of the Pauls.
Aaron
As
Paul,
Gary
right?
says, you hate them all, right? So
Paul O'Neill, whatever.
Paul O'Neill, right. Great last name, though. Great last name. So as the scores right now, Tyler with 3, Alex with 3, Gary with 5, JC with 4. Let's go ahead and move on to the next round into actual Pirates news. And hey, Pirates made a lot of news this week, I feel like. It starts with the hitting coach. So we all know the last one was fired. What's going to happen? Matt Hague from the Toronto Blue Jays was hired as the hitting coach for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Very young, also an ex-Bucco himself. Tons of plate appearances, tons of experience under his belt at the major league level as a hitter. So I want to know your viewpoints on this. Good hire, not so good hire. What's your thoughts? We'll start with Alex actually this time.
I think this is a really good hire and probably about the best that you could have realistically expected from something like this. I mean, he's going to be the center piece of all of it, but a lot of it is going to be the hitting infrastructure that they have built, as Charrington has said a bunch of times. And he has also said that they wanted someone who can relate to players and get rid of some of that disconnect, between what we want you to implement and actually implementing it into games. Everything I've heard from Toronto is that they are pretty bummed that they are missing out on this guy. Like, he was someone who players really loved, having him in the room, someone that they really trust, could relate to them. Reading, his interview on Fangraphs, he sounds a little bit like a hitting nerd, someone who could, take some of these new ideas and that have happened over the last 5-10 years in the game. He is very much up to date with what's going on there. I think this is someone who, it reminds me a little bit of kind of how the Oscar Marine hire was back in 2019, 2020, where someone who's young, maybe you're getting him a little early compared to what a lot of other guys would go, but there's just a really good resume, even though it's not particularly long. I want to see how it goes through, but I think this is a very solid hire for them.
All right. Good stuff. Gary?
Yeah, I think everybody is lying if they say they know. I mean, there's some good signs there. There's some decent things he's done. I've heard some good things. I've read some good things. I was hoping for somebody that's kind of done it at this level, at the top of the food chain as far as a hitting coach goes. I feel like they're at that point where they needed that. So I don't know that now I want to be experimenting. I actually agree about the Oscar Marin comp, but this isn't 5 years ago. I kind of wanted somebody to come in and like hit the ground running. That said, I think all the best hitting coaches are probably not very good hitters in their career. They absorb more, they try more, they understand more of what gets through to people. So I'm optimistic that he'll be okay. I don't care about the Pirate connection at all, but so be it.
JC.
Yeah, I mean, in the context of how the Pirates usually operate, I'd say this is a pretty good hire. I mean, they had some limitations as far as, you have to wonder if the lame duck status potentially of the GM, the manager, if they don't get things done this year, might have hindered their ability to attract, the best candidates for this job, right? Because you figure maybe if there's only 1 year, Mr. The Hague could be out the door here with their whole staff after the season. So I don't know how much that played into what, their search process or anything like that. But I think, I mean, we won't know if he's going to be good or not, but he's not a retread. He's going to bring a different voice into the room. It's not Mr. Haynes. Maybe he's the guy who can revive Jack Sawinski's career, give Henry Davis an MLB career, tap into Cabrian's unlocked potential, raise the Titanic, turn water into wine, bring peace to the Middle East. But then again, maybe not. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Love it. Ty.
Well, as JC just said, like, we're not going to know, and I think all you guys said it. But Gary mentioned bringing in someone that had experience, and I think that's very fair. That it would be nice to have someone around here that has some experience being a hitting coach. Maybe the Pirates have gone young and inexperienced throughout these last 5 years. But if I'm going to give Andy Haynes a nickname, it's going to be the Cold Strike Collector. Give me the hit collector over that. And that's what Matt Hague is. Give me the hit collector, and this team go the other way, pull the baseball, hit it where it's pitched. We'll get back to old school baseball and win some ball games, boys.
Love
Give me
it.
that.
Something they certainly could use right now. Rebuttals. Well, I don't know. Y'all seem to kind of agree with it. Is there any rebuttals on here? Speak for Alex.
I forgot to mention this earlier. I mean, you guys have talked about, got to get Henry Davis going. You got to get Jack Sawinski going. You got to get, Leo Pagero going. All these young guys that have had maybe good numbers in the minors, but not in the majors. This is someone who has coached in the post-COVID minor leagues. He has that experience. We talk about that divide of, player development. How do you bridge that gap between the minors and the majors? Here's someone who did it pretty well for Toronto in 2023 and 2024, obviously going to be a big part because you don't have many avenues to add to this offense. Their best way to improve the offense is going to be improving a lot of their existing hitters. Here's someone who has a bit of a track record doing that.
There it
I
is.
mean, I'd add on too about the hire that something that encouraged me that didn't have anything to do with the hitting coach. When they hired an assistant pitching coach, that made me feel like maybe it's not out of the question they'll hire another assistant hitting coach as well to maybe fortify this a little bit more. For years, been calling for them to have a little bit more help at that level because it felt like both of their top of the food chains were overwhelmed.
I don't know if that's happening. They also have, like Johnny Tucker, Tim McKeithen hanging around. It wasn't just Andy Haynes and Christian Marrero last year, even if they were the only two listed as hitting coaches.
For the record here, this is all insider trading. I would like to protest this entire debate because Alex has inside information. We don't.
Whose fault is
So,
that?
Protest is on the table right now.
You should have gotten more points in the Tyson bit.
Well, you know what? I don't like you, Alex. I like the other two more.
Fine, you look like crap.
Oh, I
That
don't
was
know.
mean.
Alex, I like that one. There, get a point. JC, anything?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this hitting coach hire. I mean, in an ideal world, they'd bring in some legendary figure like to be like his to be his Rick Strom type guy, or Brent Strom. Excuse me, Rick Strom. Wow, I was going back a ways there. Old Steeler QB, but yeah, and to be like the Brent Strom guy of on the hitting side. I mean, you could dream scenarios. You've heard a lot of people talk about Barry Bonds and all these different people from the past, but yeah, I don't. It would be good to have somebody who did have some cachet to be, to be working with Matt, helping him out. But I guess that remains to be seen.
Am I allowed one more rebuttal?
What do you got, Tyler?
I just want to mention that if the Pirates are going to take a risk on an inexperienced hitting coach, now is the time to do so. Because you almost were close to having a lame duck GM and a lame duck manager. So if you're going to get a little bit experimental, now's the time to do it. If it doesn't work, he's gone too. Doesn't really matter. So let's take a risk here.
Maybe fair, but then again, it could cost you your job also.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good stuff, guys. Appreciate it. So here is the final round before we move on to the final round. This will determine the winner. So going into the next round, we have Tyler with 5 points, Alex with 10, Gary with 9, JC with 7. So you guys
This
have kind of
thing's
talked
rigged.
about it a little bit. It's not rigged. This is fully this is perfect. The scoring portion is perfect.
Rigged.
There's no bias, absolutely at all. Not like the Dave Parker voting that happened a couple nights ago. But with that said, yeah, so I think I mixed up the categories. Now that I said Dave Parker. I told you all Dave Parker, didn't I?
Yep.
Well, let's do it. Let's put away Strom. That's what happens when it's Friday and the show's at 6:30 and not 9. So Dave Parker, big bid, potentially going into the Hall of Fame. December 8th will be the voting. We'll find out. Does Dave Parker deserve to be in the Hall? And I'll tell you what, let's go with JC first.
Yeah, 1,000% yes. I mean, setting aside his career numbers, which are awesome, they're impressive, MVPs, awards, all that stuff. It's called the Hall of Fame for a reason, and no one was more famous in the game of baseball in the mid to late 70s than the Cobra. I mean, he was a true five-tool ball player, an attraction, someone that people would, buy tickets to go to see. I have my doubts that the committee is going to do the right thing and elect him. You just start looking at the numbers and breaking down things. And, I watched that Jay Jaffe episode the other night. 16 committee members. They can name 3 people each on their ballots. And you need 12 votes to enshrine a candidate. And then you start looking at the 7 other guys that are up for consideration as well. They're all deserving candidates. You only have 48 votes to go around, and in the last couple cycles of this, voting, they've only elected one candidate each year for the last 2 years. So I don't know. Odds look grim, I think, for Cobra, but I mean, he is definitely deserving of enshrinement.
There it is, Gary.
He's deserved to get in for a while. He might have a little bit more of the sympathy vote this year, where there's a little bit more of the story of how he's doing in the news that kind of sways a few people, makes him rise to the top of their list or their list of names that could maybe get him in this year. I know there's been a push from the Pirates, from behind the scenes to try to make it more of a thing. Al Oliver too, they've been trying. But I mean, I don't know. I think he deserves it. I think his numbers back it up. I think he's pretty important figure for two very old baseball teams that probably haven't produced very many Hall of Famers since. So it would be very meaningful for two important markets for Major League Baseball to get him into the Hall of Fame. It seems like such a no-brainer. I'm almost not shocked they're too stupid to do it.
Tyler.
Will you ever know me as more than a wet blanket? Nope.
No.
Sorry, guys. But if you look at the right fielders in that era, and if you look at 1970 to 1990, Bobby Bonds, better hitter, not in. I got to check my records again. Jack Clark, better hitter, not in. There's a bunch of guys in the same category as Dave Parker that are not in the Hall of Fame. I think he's very, very close. But I think when you get to the Dave Parkers, the Jack Clarks, the Bobby Bonds, that entire category, and I know Harold Baines is in, and that was probably a mistake, which I think is the part that everybody leans on. He's in. Should he be? No. I think we get to the point where we just want to put everybody above him in. And I think that a Dave Parker's probably the line of he's very, very good, did a lot of really good things, but he's not quite there. I think we still need to have that line here in the Hall of Fame. I'm not there yet. I just don't see it.
Alex.
Dave Parker of the 70s is a Hall of Famer. Guy who won 3 Gold Gloves, was an MVP, had 2 other finishes in the top 3 for MVP, was one of the baddest dudes in all of baseball. That Dave Parker in the 70s is a Hall of Famer. Dave Parker in the 80s was worth negative 10.5 wins above average. He was a significantly below average player for a decade in this game. And I'm sorry, no, you're not a Hall of Famer if you spend half your career as a below average player. I think it's kind of messed up that it was the drug scandal that it kept him out. I'm strictly talking his merits on the field right now. But as JC said, you can have 3 votes, and I don't know how you can justify Dave Parker over Dick Allen, who is the best right-handed hitter, who isn't connected to steroids, who is not in the Hall of Fame. I don't know how you don't have Tommy John on your ballot over Dave Parker. Tommy John, who won 280-something games and saved countless careers by being a guinea pig for his surgery. There's just so much that I would like, him to get some flowers before whenever he's still around to see him, but he's just not a Hall of Famer in my book.
Wow. This is a parted show right here. This side says no, this side says yes. We got some viewpoints here. Some rebuttal time. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. I mean, I don't always look at the totality of a career either. I mean, in the NFL, I've made that exception a few times. I think Barry Sanders for sure is a Hall of Famer, even if though he cut his career short. Gale Sayers, In baseball, I kind of look at Dave Parker for a stretch, and you said it correctly, in the 70s, was arguably the best player in the game. And once you've done that for a little while, it's real hard for me to not say that you belong in that thing. You know, if you've dominated half a decade in a game that's this hard, man, I don't know. That's a Hall of Famer to me. I definitely understand everything that people say detracts from it. But half a decade of dominance in this game, how many players do that? And how many of them aren't in the Hall of Fame when they do?
Yeah, I'm a big Hall guy. I think that all 8 of those guys actually that are up for consideration should get in. I felt like that, the last year whenever Jim Leland and the 7 other guys were up for consideration. And this is a whole other different argument, but the way that they have organized these committees and put these restrictions on the voting, is making it very impossible to get a lot of these guys who are very deserving into the Hall. I mean, they should be, electing like 2 or 3 people from these committees every year, but we're only going to get one because just the shortage of votes and the great candidacies of everybody involved. So it's really disappointing in that regard.
See, I actually completely disagree with that because I think it should be very hard to get into the Hall of Fame. I think you should have to be exceptional for a long period of time, or at least, in Gary's point, Barry Sanders, where when you see it, you see it. You know that guy's a Hall of Famer. Like, it'll get down a rabbit hole, but is Andrew McCutchen a Hall of Famer? I think that's in the same category as a Dave Parker. I don't think they're quite there yet. I'm okay with Major League Baseball making it difficult to get in. I think they've done a poor job of not letting the best of the best get in. But I don't think that a very good Major League Baseball player should just be a shoo-in. I'm not there.
I'm going to second that with it. I'm medium-sized Hall. I don't, have a big Hall, small Hall, a hardline stance there. But, you should have an extended peak. And for about 4 or 5 years, Cobra was, a Hall of Famer, but that needs to be 7 or 8 if that's all you got going for you right now. And he just didn't have quite the longevity for a peak, and he did not play all that well in his 30s. So I would like to see, as Gary said, there haven't been a whole lot of Pirates who have been in the Hall of Fame. Jim, Leland, notwithstanding, he never played those. So he's probably the best avenue until Kutch eventually gets on the ballot, and Kutch is a coin flip at best, in his case. So it would be nice to see a Pirate get into the Hall of Fame. I just don't see it happening right now. He is playing to be the third ballot or third guy on a lot of people's ballots, it feels like, and you don't get 75% that way.
It's definitely tough. As everyone in North Shore 9 here knows I'm about to say, I see both sides. But, he had a peak, but I can understand what Alex is saying. And Tyler, it just wasn't long enough. If the peak was 7/8, then absolutely. And that's where Kutch has fallen in. He had a very strong peak as well, but is it going to be long enough for Kutch to get in if he doesn't have the counting stats? So a lot of good viewpoints here. 2 sides going back and forth. But fellas, we got to move on to the next round here. The scores are Tyler with 11, Alex with 14, Gary with 13, and JC with 10. So you know what that means. Alex, JC, you guys got to go. Apologize. We'll be back here a little bit later, but
I thought I had 14.
I'm sorry. I said Alex, Tyler, and JC, you guys got to go. So we're moving on to the final round here. Going to be Gary and Alex head to head. Fellas, and everyone watching right now on YouTube as well, you guys will be voting. All right, I'll have the poll out here shortly, right? Who's going to win between Alex and Gary. But what I want to talk about and know, the Paul Skenes 1/1 rookie card autograph has dropped. And you know what? That's going to be worth some money. A lot of people want their hands on it. But you know who wants their hands on it really, really bad, apparently? The Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know if they're trying to flip this and that's how they're going to get their first baseman solved, but they want the Paul Skenes autograph, and they're giving away all kinds of stuff. We got 30 years worth of tickets behind home plate. We have all the tours of Lecombe, all the tours of Pirate City. You got a meet and greet with Paul Skenes. You get 2 autographed jerseys from Paul Skenes. Hell, even Livy Dunn saying, "Hey, come sit with me in the suites one night." Now I know that's turning a lot of kids to buying Topps rookie cards right now to get that Paul Skenes, right? But I want to know, you two, is this worth it? This package to give to the Pirates if you were to get that 1 of 1? Let's go ahead. Gary, you're with 13. Let's give you the floor to start off with.
I would take it, yes. And I say that before the Livy Dunn news because I'm a happily married man, and that has absolutely no effect on me whatsoever, just in case she's watching.
Good answer.
I would say to most people, I would imagine when Livy's offer came out, they looked like the troll in Harry Potter staring at the sword of Gryffindor, just going like, that will be my prize. Because that's really the deal for them, I think. They would probably sell off the season tickets every game on StubHub and make a ton of money off of it that way. I love it. I don't know what the card's worth. I would take the package just so I don't have to deal with Jim Rosati trying to sell it and get it to him.
There you go, Alex.
They kept a small thing out of that tweet that the Pirates sent out about all the things that you would get. If you turn down the Pirates offer, you get a swift kick in the ass from me for wondering what the hell is wrong with you. It is a piece of cardboard. It is. What do you mean that you're going to value this? That's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of seats by itself. Sell those if nothing else. Like, it is ridiculous. Make bank. It's a piece of paper. What are you doing here? So I don't know what got into the Pirates, why they're like, yeah, this is the most valuable thing. This is the big rumor that we've been attached to so far this offseason. Let's go. I don't know why, but hey, I'm pretty sure they could get Paul Skenes to autograph a card for them too. I don't know. Neither here nor there.
That's a fair point.
You get a meet and greet. Of course you would.
You see him every day for 162 games.
So, let me put this out there for you
know.
two as well, and there's something you can kind of maybe talk, because it seems like you're both agreeing here. So that, like, to add the counterpoint to this, a lot of people are saying this card could be worth like millions. Now, I don't know if Paul Skenes in the same stratosphere as like the 1 of 1 Steph Curry that apparently went for like $5.5 million and such. So I guess the thought process here is, do I keep this card, give it to, is it Golden Auctions, whatever he is, because he's already on the Pirates about this. Do you go ahead and give it to an auctioneer and say, give me my millions? Or do you say, this is a pretty good offer too, let me go and watch the Pirates for the next 30 years?
I wonder if you put it like that. No, it's. I guess you could argue the lump sum. If you win the lottery, get it up front. But I mean, the Anthony Volpe card that they're, trying to attach this to was apparently like 150,000, which is a ridiculous amount of money. But it's not millions. Like, you will get that in the season tickets alone. You got to sell it. And I say this as someone who, before COVID hit and card prices everywhere just skyrocketed, I lived out a childhood fantasy, and I bought all 150 Pokemon cards, the original 150.
You collected them all.
I finally collected them all, which apparently I've got like a nest egg waiting. For me right now, but it's like, no, those are mine. That's what a card should be. It's mine. It's what I would trade with my friends so I could get the players that I want right there. That's what it's for. I hate seeing that it goes for, that are people making this into a cottage industry. It's ridiculous.
I mean, in a heartbeat, I would take it still. I mean, like the Pirates deal to me, that's can't miss. Those are great seats. You never have to worry about that ever again. If they really wanted to sell me on it, give me a friggin' parking pass for someplace down there. That'd be the dream right there. You can keep Livy and give me a parking pass, okay? I'll take a parking pass for 6 weeks.
Negotiation is a parking pass.
6 weeks, and I would trade it in for the seats with Livy. What do I need to watch her shove nachos in her gullet for?
Good stuff, guys. If you want to know my take on this, I am not giving it to the Pirates. I am holding on to that. I'm going to sell it, take that money, and I don't know, maybe buy some billboards, maybe try to buy the Pirates themselves with a small ownership deal here. I don't know. Let's see how much that is worth. But chances are, yeah, it's not that much money. But hey, great stuff, guys. The polls are open to vote right now. So if you're in the YouTube chat, go ahead and do so. Let's find out who our winner is for tonight. I'll give you guys a few more moments here, but I guess we should go ahead and, bring back the fellas. So let's bring back Tyler. Let's bring back JC onto the show. Thanks, everyone. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to give you guys 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds to vote for the winner tonight. What's quick take? Tyler, you selling it or you giving it to the Pirates? Oh, my bad. I kept you guys on mute. Oh, so much power. Tyler, you buying it? Are you selling it or are you giving it to the Pirates?
I'm selling that thing all day. Like season tickets for 30 years. Like, you know how free I could eat for the entire summer? I'm good. Giving that clubhouse little thing, like I can hit that buffet. I'm good.
It's a good view. JC?
I think I was going to say, I wouldn't take the offer. It's a fine offer, but I'd make a counter offer. I'd trade this card for Bob Nutting to sell the team within 1 calendar year. If he agreed to, he could sell it to me, or, I'd be happy to trade him even up with the card for it, for the franchise. But, he's got to sell it to anyone, someone, doesn't matter. But that would be my offer to him. Card for the, selling the franchise.
I think he's hoping Gary gets it. The trade-off for parking passes or selling the team. He's hoping Gary gets this right now. So, everybody.
I don't know. He doesn't own any parking either. So,
the polls are closed. Gary is your winner tonight. He takes home episode, I think this is 4 at this point in time, of The Point as the winner. So, Gary, talk your shit, man.
Yeah, I don't really got shit to talk. I mean, I'm pretty happy about everything right now. I wish the offseason was moving a little faster, but unfortunately we're not the LA Angels. Well, they're the only ones that seem to be doing anything. Kevin Newman's going out there, so we're spared from seeing him come back here as a utility guy. I'm seeing an effort to build up Nick York already, which makes me feel like he's our starting first baseman. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be wonderful. I'm hoping to work up the gumption to start writing again without worrying about what people think in the next couple weeks.
Awesome stuff. Well, yeah, winter meetings are coming up here soon, so we know the Pirates are going to land Juan Soto, right?
For sure.
For sure. That's why they're trying to get the Skenes card, so they can pay his
For
first installment and then be broke. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all for coming on. As always, for everyone watching, thanks for watching. Tune in again next week for Sicko Sound Off on Friday. We'll be back on Monday. Also, hey, let's put it out there. We're talking about Paul Skenes. The Rookie of the Year announcement is announced on Monday. So maybe he gets another accolade this year as I keep stacking up. So we'll be back next week. Appreciate y'all for watching. Bye-bye.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.